From Brooke High School, WTRF proudly presents Ohio Valley Tonite with Nathan Marshall. Tonight's guest. Tonight we are joined by Temujin Ekunfeo. I said that right, correct?
You said it right.
Thank you for coming, Temujin.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. He's from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and he's better known as Temujin the Storyteller. And he's known as that because he tells stories from Africa and the Americas for over 40 years.
That's true.
So I have to ask this question because I'm just kind of goofy.
Okay.
Has anybody ever told you you look like George Clinton from George Clinton and Parliament Funkadelic?
Why, yes. I got in an argument with a waiter at a Fuddruckers restaurant.
Isn't that where it always happens?
That always happens. I hate that. And he walks up to me and he says, George, look, I'm not going to tell anybody it's you. I said, I'm not George Clinton. Come on, George, please. It's okay. I know, but I'm not going to tell anybody. I appreciate you not telling anyone, but the fact remains, I am not George Clinton. You wouldn't believe me. The whole night he called me George. And he wouldn't let it go. That whole night, he would not get off the idea that I was George Clinton.
He's got to sign autographs at that point.
Should have. Should have sold them.
That's all right, because I've been told I look like a generic Jimmy Fallon.
Nah.
Yeah?
You better look in the Fallon.
Oh, thank you, sir.
That's right. You make it rain up in
Eat that. Making it rain. Eat that, Jimmy Fallon. Where do you usually perform at? Because I can't, I can't imagine you being at Phipps Conservatory, popping out of a flower and being like, I'm here to tell you a story.
I never popped out of the plant, but I have worked at Phipps more than almost a dozen times. Wow. I've worked at Phipps. But I've worked at museums and libraries and festivals. I've even told stories to the IRS.
Haven't we all?
But they paid me.
That's pretty good because they just take money from everybody else. That's all they ever do. Temujin, I've been told you have an active repertoire of over 200 fables, tales, and parables. That's quite amazing. Ranging from traditional Yoruba, did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
To Native American tales. Mm-hmm. Can you share with us what you consider to be your best story?
Okay, that's going to be a little hard.
Yeah.
Because all my stories are my best stories.
What's the one you love the most right now?
Right now?
Yeah.
Gee, you make me sound like a bigamist or something. But okay. This is one of my favorites, and I like it because I think it makes a really good point. There was a man who was going through difficult times, and every morning he'd wake up and he'd say, if I could just have a little break, just something to help me out. Now, God heard him, but wanted to be sure that he wasn't going to waste the gift. So God sent three things, sent money, child, and patience. And the man could only choose one of them. Now at that time, there was a river that separated the world of the flesh from the world of spirit. When money, child, and patience got to that river, child was too weak to cross, money was too vain, so patience picked them both up and carried them across the river. When they arrived at the man's house, they announced who they were and what their purpose was. And the man's wife pulled him to the side and said, look, we can barely feed ourselves. We don't need a child. We've been patient long enough. Take the money. He said, well, they came to me, so it's my choice. So he went outside, and he walked through the forest for a while, and he came back and said, I've decided I'm going to choose patience. And the wife said, you have lost what is left of your feeble mind. You can't spend patience. You can't eat patience. You can't wear patience. You can't fix the broken roof on the house with patience. So patience settled in to stay. And money and child headed back. But when they got to that river that separated the world of flesh from the world of spirit, child was too weak and money was too vain. So they both returned to the man. He who has patience has everything.
That's a great story. We actually have a student question here from Brooke High School junior Lindsey Willis. And Lindsey says this.
Being from Pittsburgh, you don't hear many people with a name like yours. I was curious, what's the meaning behind your name?
That's a great question, Lindsey.
It's an excellent question.
The meaning behind Temujin
Ekunfeo. There's a meaning behind it and a meaning for the name. Mm-hmm. I will tell the history of how I came by the name because I was not born with that name.
Oh, really?
On St. Patrick's Day, when I was 7 years old, there was an article in the Sunday Roto magazine about the Irish in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And there was Reynolds. And that was the family name, Reynolds. So I went running to my dad. I said, Daddy, look, we're Irish. He said, no, we're not. We're Africans. I said, no, if we're Africans, how come we have an Irish name? He said, well, my father was born during slavery on the Reynolds tobacco plantation. When I found that out, that upset me.
Yeah.
Because you don't own people.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not pets. They're not toys. They're not equipment. They're human beings. I was 7. And I looked at my dad and I said, well, why didn't you change our names? Well, I don't want the name of somebody that owned my grandfather like he was a pet or a tool or a piece of furniture. When I grow up, I want to change my name. And my father said, if you do, that's fine with me. I hope you do. And I did. The name, Temujin, you know who Genghis Khan is?
Yes.
Yeah, well, that wasn't his name.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, his name was Temujin, which can be translated as Iron Man.
Really?
Yes. Don't believe me, look it up. The library's right next door.
I'll Google it. I don't use the library anymore. Books?
Yeah, I'm kind of old school. Wiki. Anyway, Kunfeo is a Yoruba name. Ekun means leopard. Fe is to like or to love. O is you, so beloved of the leopard. So you go to Pittsburgh, you find anybody with the last name Ekunfeo, they got to be related to me.
Exactly.
There's no way around it.
There's no way.
They got to be related to me.
That's exactly right. And I agree with you about your family heritage. My parents told me about, we owned a castle in England at one point, and they're like, yeah, we don't know much about it. I'm like, why would you not look
Yeah,
this
go
up?
find out. Yeah.
I actually went to visit the castle. I
Did you?
Broke into it in England and everything. It was great. It's in the middle of a sheep field.
You broke into it.
Yeah, I could have just asked, but it was more fun to break in. Don't do that. I could have.
I was about to tell you, did you do much
with
time?
a bobby stick. But they're really nice. I was just like, hey, my family owned this castle at one point. They're like, oh, okay, weird American boy, come on in. Not the smartest thing to do.
No.
I made it alive, so.
I'm glad.
Yeah, it worked out all right.
Glad it wasn't Mexico. You'd still be.
I wouldn't be here.
You'd still be doing
I'd be
time.
headless in a ditch. That's where I would be at right now. Being a bit of a storyteller myself, Temujin, I thought it would be fun to play a little game I call... I'm not very good with the titles of the games, but in this game, what we're going to do is you tell a story, I'll try to one-up you, and we'll go vice versa until we have found the
Storyteller of the universe. That's the greatest storyteller.
That was a little drama to it.
All right.
So you go
Very,
first.
very little drama.
You have the honors. You're the away team, so.
It was late one night, and there was a grape. Yes, G-R-A-P, grape. Sitting at the table, wishing that it could have something else to do with its life besides be a piece of fruit. I mean, what life does a piece of fruit have? Not much at all. So it decided that it wanted to do extreme skiing. Skiing is difficult for a grape.
Yeah.
Because when you're a grape, you don't have legs, so you have to be inventive. But this is America, the land of opportunity. And so you have to do what you got to do. Well, he was doing what he had to do, and he was developing his arts and his skills skiing and inventing things for grapes to ski with, because he could see a whole industry coming out of this. But when you have a plan and a dream and a desire, then you can make things happen.
My turn? I'm a school teacher. First year teaching at Maryland. It's very hot, humid. There's no air condition. Hot day. And if anybody's ever sat in a classroom, you know that the desks today have these like vinyl, like wood, like, you can, if you yell, it will echo off of it, right? So we're sitting there, kids are giving the presentations, everybody's being very much in school mode, and all of a sudden, there was a kid in my class named Aaron. I used to call him the death dealer. Of course, his dad was a funeral home director, which makes sense. So I called death dealer, he knew what I was talking about. Never said 2 words during the whole year, he wouldn't talk at all. And as we're giving the presentation, Aaron lets out what I can only describe as the most extremely loud, extremely robust, extremely like fart that just echoes off of the desk and just reverberates throughout the classroom. And of course, everybody's head just goes right to Aaron, and just looking at him, his face is beet red, and he just looks at this kid beside him and just goes, shh, like that one kid would keep the whole secret of the fart quiet. It didn't happen. Don't fart in public. That's my moral.
But there's a reason why one should.
Let me know.
So you add to the methane content because there's a project now where they're collecting all of the methane, or methane if you're from England.
Oh, yes, methane.
Yes, methane. Yes.
It's both, not bad.
Absolutely, and you must have aluminum. Mm-hmm. The cars are made of aluminum. That's why they run so well. And so now they if you go to McDonald's now, you get a hamburger and you get beans on the side, and
that's
or
why,
you can get beans and then a hamburger on the side.
Yeah.
But they want more methane or methane
uh-huh.
in the air so that they can draw it out, and so that we can all drive cars powered by methane.
by gas.
Yes, gas. Literally the wave of the future.
It's too much methane in here.
I would say.
I was actually told the other day that that termites farting causes more pollution for the ozone than anything else in the world. I'm not joking.
I'm sure you're not. I heard it was cows.
Yeah, I thought it was my dad, but that's a different story. Well, I will declare you the
Storyteller of the universe.
Thank
you are. Congratulations, sir.
Yes.
Right. Again, I want to thank my guest today, Temujin the Storyteller. And if you want to learn more about Temujin the Storyteller, you can visit
Facebook.
Facebook.
My picture is there.
Yeah, just look up Temujin.
Temujin Ekunfeo, you will find me.
Yep, he puts his face on Facebook.
I do. Why not? I mean, Is that why they call it Facebook?
You'd think.
Well, I try to think. I don't do it too often because then people get to dependent on it and it becomes a drag.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, again, thank you for coming here
My
today.
pleasure.
Temujin, the Storyteller again. And for Ohio Valley Tonight, this has been Nathan Marshall. And the moral of the story is, don't talk to the Mothman.